Good afternoon and welcome to the Keystone Aquatics live stream of the 2020 Winter 18 and Under Championships. This event will take place for the remainder of this afternoon, as well as sessions throughout tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. We're going to fit this thing in Thursday and Friday. This evening's first session will be 3 heats of 1650 freestyle. Event number 17 will be the girls 18 and under 1650. We're going to have 2 heats of that, and followed by the boys with 1 heat.
And timers to our lanes and our positions. We'll get this show started. So timers to your lanes, please. Officials to your stations.
So, for those of you just tuning in, if you want to help your friends and family get set up on this broadcast, you can find us on Facebook at Keystone Aquatics, where there will be a live stream for every session of this 2 days of action. You can also find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel to receive notifications of when the meet is up and running. Simply going on Facebook or YouTube and searching Keystone Aquatics will yield the live video for this weekend. As I just mentioned, our first events in this afternoon session will be the 1650 freestyle. We'll start up with the women. And we will get going in just a few minutes. Give you a little bit more time to get all situated, perhaps grab the HDMI cord and put this up on the TV. And we'll get started in just a moment.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Winter 18 Under Championships. We're going to start today's session with event number 17, girls 18 and under, 1600 freestyle. There will be 2 heats. Heat number 1 should have 3 swimmers. Mr. Referee.
Okay, folks, and as we just heard from our public address, Coach Scott, we're starting up with heat number 1 of event number 17. That's going to be the girls 18 and under 1650-yard freestyle. There's going to be 2 heats. Heat number 1 features 3 swimmers. Swimming in lane 3, that's Liz Perot. Lane 2 is Natalie Stewart. And 5 will be Naomi Furman. So a pair of swimmers 3 swimmers here, flipping at the 50 mark. 1650 freestyle features 66 lengths to the pool. For those of you who turned into the broadcast last weekend, we didn't even have a 1650. If you thought the 1,000 was long, just get excited for this one. I'm going to be walking you through it for 66 lengths as the ladies approach length number 4. The seed times in this heat, while Perot's best is 17:54. Stewart's the top seed in heat number 1. She's been 17:23.30. And Naomi Furman, swimming out of lane 5, her best has been 17:49.44. So 66 lengths of the pool. We'll check back in just a second to see how things start to shape up as the swimmers in heat number 1 approach the 150-yard mark, length number 6.
you to lower the bar.
Alrighty, folks, and I'll check back in with you as we are already a quarter of the way through this 1650. The top seed in this heat, Stewart, does touch the wall first at the 400 mark. She's at 4:05.21. She's settled into mid-range 31s per 50. So if we're thinking, 31.5, well, that would be 103 per 100. We'll see where that pace lands her. She's already opened up about 5 or 6 yards, but the race for second is certainly neck and neck right now between Perot and Furman. They're at 31 highs. I saw the first 32 of this heat so far for Furman at her feet at the 450 mark. But we can start to guesstimate times here when we get the 500 split, coming up in about 15 yards for Stewart. As we mentioned, Stewart's previous best is 17:23. Her 500 split, well, that'll be 5:07.95. So here's the math I do know before we get too complicated. Holding 100s or 5-minute 500s, 10 minutes in the 1,000, etc. If you hold 100 per 100, that puts you at a nice even 16:30 for your final time. So if that 5:07 500 split was to remain in place for Stewart, she'd be comfortably looking at a best time. Her best has been 17:23. That math would put her, well, about 20 seconds over the 16:30 time, and presumably she'd be in the 16:50s if she held at that first 500 pace. So based on what I'm seeing right now, it would be reasonable to deduce that if Stewart can continue to persist at this pace, her goal could be to break 17 minutes. That would be a 23-second drop and obviously a phenomenal swim. So we'll see how this shapes up. As of right now, in very good shape at her 600 split, 16:11.48. She's certainly settled into 103s per 100. 103s, if I'm doing the math on the spot here. I need to get my data team here up and running. My 103s would suggest more of a, well, that would be about a 17:15 final time would be 103s. So a drop nonetheless, and we got to assume she built in a bit of a cushion there in the first 6 or 8 or 10 lengths where she was holding under 103. Off the dive, you got the adrenaline going. So check back in just a moment as we continue to see this first heat of the 1650 unfold. It looks like Perot has solidified her spot in second for now, but a lot of race left to go as Naomi Furman sits just about 5 yards behind Liz Perot. We'll be right back. All right, so as we see, we're past the halfway point now of this race. Natalie Stewart has completed the 900. She's flipping at the 925 mark right now. So 75 yards remain until we can get Stewart's 1,000 split. Oftentimes, swimmers, the 1,000 and the 1650 aren't always something you swim week in and week out, or not something that you prepare to go best times in often. So sometimes a swimmer can go a best 1,000 time at their feet at the mile. So even though there's 650 yards left, that 1,000 can actually be an exciting split. And sometimes it's the first thing a swimmer wants to know when they get out of the pool after the mile. There are 20 yards remaining until we get Stewart's 1,000 split. I was hypothesizing with my team here, if she's under 1030 for the 1,000 split, she's in a good spot to turn in a new best time here. She definitely will be. 10:23.85 is Stewart's 1,000 split. So if we've got a Natalie Stewart fan watching at home and you know her 1,000 best time, well, you could drop it in the chat on Facebook or YouTube. Let us know if that was a best 1,000 time. The 1,000 split for Liz Perot, who's in second, is 10:35.72. She's 7 seconds ahead of Naomi Furman, who's 10:42.92 for the 1,000. So we know there's about 600 yards remaining for these young ladies as they will look to set the tone for the remaining 2 heats of 1650. If they do turn in some best times, well, the pressure's on for heat 2 and the boys' heat as well.
Remember, I sent you guys that email with who it was and everything.
Okay, so the counting tile goes in for Stewart at 51. Oftentimes, the 1650 can be equal parts mental and physical. In this long race, a lot of the time for the swimmers, it means a lot to know that they're as far as lengths go, they're in the 50s. So she has just flipped at her 52nd length out of 66. I just sit here and watch and think to myself, man, it's an easier one to be sitting here commentating than to be in the water. That stretch of 51, 53 can be grueling. But so Stewart is approaching 14 minutes now as she'll flip at her 1350. Will be 300 yards remaining at 14:04. So with 300 yards remaining, if she continued to hold that 103 pace, that would be a 310 roughly for the 300 split, which would put her at 17:14. Remember about 5 minutes ago when I thought she might be 17:15? Interesting how that math starts to check out. She's closing in on not quite a 50-yard lead, but she's got a 40-yard lead on Furman and Perot. So one strategy you can implement if you're not the top swimmer in the heat sometimes is, let me avoid letting the top swimmer catch me on the tail end of this race, and sometimes that'll help you set into your faster pace. So we'll get Perot and Furman splits here at her feet. The swimmer in lane 3, Liz Perot, she's 14:57, and she's been holding 32 highs per 50, so she might be holding more of a 105 at this point, versus Stewart, who's remained consistent at 103s. So a well-split race could result in a best time here for Stewart. So at this point at the wall, Stewart hits at her feet 15:39. She's got 150 yards remaining. So that would be exactly 1,500, a nice even number to check off as far as, if you're in the mindset of the swimmer doing this race. Once you've eclipsed the 1,500 mark, you've got just a handful of lengths remaining, and oftentimes a coach will say, maybe you've been holding your pace the whole time. Let's kick it into the next gear, and they'll tell you to kick, to spin the arms, hold your breath, all that good stuff. She's got 100 yards remaining now, 16:10:53 with 100 yards remaining. I can confidently say now, best time is in order for Natalie Stewart. She'll be in the 17 teens. We'll just see how much she beats that previous best of 17:23 by. In a year marked with uncertainty with the coronavirus pandemic, getting in the water to train is a new welcome opportunity, and having enough training in your legs to put up a best time in the 16:50 is nothing short of a miracle. And Natalie Stewart is going to celebrate that new best time in just about 20 yards. And with 50 yards remaining for Perot and Furman, we can see what territory they're in for lifetime bests as well. So Stewart puts her head down, kicks hard to the finish. She's got to be gassed. It'll be 17:11:06. A 12-second best time for Natalie Stewart to set the pace. She's the first swimmer to complete an event at the Winter Championships here at the Keystone Aquatics Center. With 15 yards remaining, Perot will maintain that 5 or 10 yard lead she's had on Furman the whole time, but Furman is sprinting home. I appreciate the hustle here in the home stretch. Perot will be 17:38, so that's a 16-second lifetime best, and only 2 seconds behind, 17:39:98 is Furman, a 10-second lifetime best. 3 for 3 best times in heat number 1. We'll be right back for heat number 2.
Event number 17, girls 18 and under, 16:15-yard freestyle. Heat number 2 of 2, 6 swimmers. Mr. Referee. For Patrick, so you need to cool down and then.
Okay, so a bit of a hold up here as we get counters and timers situated for heat number 2. I promise it's on the way, and it looks like it's going right now. Okay, folks, in the water now is the final heat, heat number 2 of the girls 18 and under 1650 freestyle, the first event of this meet. We've got 6 swimmers in the water. Swimming out of lane 2, Pepper Ritchie. Lane 3 is Allie Wagner. Lane 4, Mackenzie Brandt. Lane 5 will be Sydney Bergstrom. 6, Sydney Mullins. You got a pair of Sydneys next to each other. And lane 7, that's Kimberly Shannon. The time put up to win heat number 1 belonged to Natalie Stewart. She was 17:11:06. Those of you who are from the central PA area might know that the Keystone Aquatic Center is in its infancy and just opened a few years ago. So when a pool is new and building its new history, pool records are set regularly. Sometimes they're brand new. As far as the report I have in front of me, there is at this time no pool record for the girls 1650 freestyle. So, reason tells us right now, after heat number 1, the pool record holder, rightfully so, after a great swim, that'd be Natalie Stewart out of heat 1 with that 17:11:06. So just know, if you're viewing at home, if a swimmer in this heat tops 17:11:06, they'll be the pool record holder here at the Keystone Aquatic Center. The top seed on that same topic.
Make sure you hit the backup button also. Okay, make sure you hit the button.
So I was brief interruption there from the public address, giving some directions to the timers for this session. The top seed in this heat is Mackenzie Brandt. She's swimming in lane 4 and has established about a body length lead already. Mackenzie Brandt's lifetime best is 16:38:25. So a pretty stellar lifetime best for her.
Make sure you hit your stopwatch and your backup plunger button. Please hit the plunger.
At the 250 mark, Brandt and the swimmers on her left and right are all under the 30 pace right now. I think they'll pop up a bit. As I was kind of musing in the first heat, holding 30 points throughout, or 1 minute per 100, lands you at a 16:30 for the 1650 time. As we said, Brandt's lifetime best is 16:38:25. So if she looks to top that and in course to topping that, set a new pool record, she'll be looking to hold roughly a minute. Minute 0.5 would be the exact math for 16:38. So as Brandt approaches her 350 mark, followed closely by Wagner and Bergstrom and Mullen, we will check back in around the 500 to do some split analysis and see how this heat's unfolding. Okay, folks. So as I mentioned, we check in at the 500 split. Brant is the lone swimmer who sneaks in under 5 minutes at the 500. At the flip turn, she's 4:59.36 for her 500 split. I assume when she went that 17:38, her first 1,000 was likely right around 10 minutes. As we mentioned, 16:30 is holding 1 minute pace. So on track right now, but a slim window for Brant to put up a lifetime best. On her left and right, the second fastest seed is Sydney Bergstrom. She's been 16:44.59. So her lifetime best is 6 seconds slower than Brant. The logic there would be if she can hang at Brant's hip, hang at her feet, well, she could be situated for a new lifetime best as well. Lane 6, Sydney Mullen, her previous best is 17:05, but she sits, so that's 20 seconds back on Bergstrom and Brant, but she sits only about 5 yards behind Brant right now, so Sydney Mullen could be on pace for a new lifetime best, certainly, and Allie Wagner's in the same boat. She sits just about 10 yards behind Brant, and her lifetime best, 17:04.52. Pepper Ritchie and Kimberly Shannon round out the heat. Their lifetime bests have been 17:16 and 17:23, respectively. It looks like Ritchie has the lead on Shannon right now, but certainly anything can change with more than half the race remaining. So as we sit here behind the scenes and take a look at the splits that are unfolding right now for this pack of girls leading heat number 2 of the 1650, I'm noticing that some pool records may have already fallen. Well, maybe not may have. They have. So the previous pool record in the 500 freestyle here at Keystone, 5:03.08. I don't know. I can't speak for the pool administrators if they'll extract splits from this 1650 and credit Brant with a new pool record. But like we said, Mackenzie Brant was at 4:59 at her feet for the 500 split. So she actually breaks the fastest 500 that's ever been swum here, just at her feet there. We'll see if it's the same case for the 1,000 and just about 100 yards. So Brant's 900 split is 9:06.48. She certainly will go the fastest 1,000 anyone's ever swum at this pool as well. That was Riley Wesleyan, who's been 10:22.33. I expect Brant to turn in a little hair under 10:10 probably for her 1,000 split. Okay, so we see 1,000 splits now on the board for Brandt and Bergstrom, as Sydney Bergstrom has put in a nice first half and change for this race. She sits just a couple tenths behind Brandt at the 1,000 mark, and from my angle at the 1,025 mark looks practically tied. The pair of them were 10:08 at the 1,000 mark. Brandt, was ahead. So again, that eclipses the previous pool record in the 1,000 freestyle by a significant margin. Bergstrom outsplit at the 1,050 mark. Her 50 was 7/10 of a second faster than Brandt's. And for the first time in this race, Sydney Bergstrom has the lead. Well, there's 600 yards remaining. So a lot can happen, but Bergstrom, as we mentioned, her previous best 16:44.59. For the first time in this race, she now has a whole body length lead at the 1,100 mark. So exciting events unfolding now as we check in at the 1250 mark. That puts us 400 yards from the finish for the leaders in our pack. Every time this door on my right gets opened, coach is shouting over me here at the mic, because they are excited, as new best times are certainly in order for some girls in this heat. Sydney Bergstrom has, since the last time I checked in, just opened up a significant lead on the girls second and third in the pack. This has been pieced together with Bergstrom holding. She hasn't touched the 31s per 50. She's been putting up 30.5, 30.8, 30.9 in each 50 here. So Bergstrom certainly has about a 10-yard lead now. Brandt remains in second, but the one who's hung around the whole time too is Sydney Mullen in lane 6. She's got third solidified at this point with 300 yards remaining. Sydney Mullen's best time is 20 seconds slower than the top seeds here. So if she stays in that conversation, she's setting herself up nicely to perhaps break 17 minutes for the first time. Okay, so at this point we approach the absolute home stretch. There are 6 lengths remaining for Bergstrom, who will be at 15-17 for her 1500 split. As mentioned in the previous heat, the coaches are shouting, kick a little bit more, you only got a minute and change left. The race for second looks like it's on between Brandt and Mullen, who are just separated by a hair with 5 lengths remaining. So with 100 yards left, Bergstrom's at 15:47. If she turns in right around a 100 for this final 100, that'll put her just a bit off of her lifetime best, but it will secure the pool record for her. She's been 16:44. We can expect her to be under 16:50 here in Heat 2 of the 16:50, but probably a little short of 16:44. The official will sound the bell for Sydney Bergstrom, who flips and puts the burners on for 50 more yards. And it looks actually like Mullen has a 2-second lead on Brandt. So Mullen, as we mentioned, her previous best is 17:05. She might be the lone swimmer in these top 3 to put up a new lifetime best. She almost certainly will. The winner, though, is 16:48.11. Well, that's Sydney Bergstrom swimming out of lane 5. So she's earned herself a new pool record here at Keystone Aquatics in the event win for the 1650 free. Second will go to Mullen, 17:00.26. Her best had been 17:05, so a 5-second drop for her. 17:03.74 will be Brandt. Wagner will take 4th in 17:08.12. And Ritchie is next at the wall. That's 5th, so Pepper Ritchie will be 17:18.86. And finally, we'll see the finish from Kimberly Shannon out of lane 7, 17:33.95. So the new pool record to Bergstrom, 16:48. We only got one heat of boys 1650. So we'll excitedly look forward to that as one pool record falls, and we expect many more this weekend. Stay tuned.
Brings us to event number 22, boys 18 and under, 1650-yard freestyle. We have one heat, we should have 7 swimmers. Mr. Referee.
Okay, folks, so after a series of excellent swims for the 2 heats of the girls 18 and under 1650 free, We'll now see one heat this afternoon for the boys 1650. There's 7 swimmers in the water for this event. Swimming in lane 1 is Kupski, in 2, Simmons, in 3, Casey, in 4, Folly, in 5, Luke, maybe it's Lukey, 6, Blake, and in 7, Jellig. So the top seed in this event is Michael Folly in lane 4. His previous lifetime best is 15:53.04. No one else in the heat has broken the 16-minute barrier. The closest has been the swimmer in lane 5, Kevin Luke. He's been 16:12.92 at his best. So we'll see if anyone else breaks 16 for the first time. Liam Simmons in lane 2 has the lead after we've swum 6 lengths. So this will be our 200 split approaching here in 5 yards. At the 200, 4 or 5 swimmers are all right together. They all flip at 150 point. First in the group is actually lane 7, Teddy Blake. He's a 15-year-old. Or I'm sorry, he's in lane 6. Teddy Blake was 149.72 at his feet at the 200 mark. So a nice swim coming together possibly for him, but the top seed's Folly, 15:53. This is going to be the 250 mark. We're halfway to the 500 split. As you folks know, the 500 split's where I start making my guesses for time, so we'll check them in just in a moment. Okay, so now we're approaching the 500 split. The swimmer in lane 7, Jellig, was actually first at his feet at the 450, but it was a close pack of swimmers. He's going to be first at the 500 mark, too. 442.52 at his feet. That's Connor Jellig out of lane 7, who has the fastest 500 split. So his lifetime best is 16:43. I don't have to do a lot of math to tell you if he maintains that pace, he will easily eclipse his lifetime best. .5:11.19 is the 550 split for Jellig, who keeps about a 1 second lead on the swimmers in 4 and 5. That's Foley and Luke. So the pack is separated a bit now. It's 4, 5, and 7 who are racing for first. Lane 6, Teddy Blake, who had the fastest 200. We'll see if he can stick at those boys' feet at the 600 mark. So 50 yards away from 1,000 more yards.
And I don't understand how that. Nobody lane 8.
So an exciting situation to kind of hypothesize about here. Everyone viewing at home has been at a swim meet before where, the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, well, they've always got an easy time dropping 10 seconds here, 15 seconds there, and, they just seem like they're always dropping time. Once you settle into adulthood, the distance races are, a rare opportunity to still have those big drops. Even at the most elite level, you might see a 21-year-old college swimmer, take 15 seconds off his or her lifetime best in the 1650. And it's exciting when you get to see those big milestone improvements in your training, come to fruition. Jelig looks like he's poised himself for one of those type situations right now, as his 850 split is 8:06.56. So he's pacing more than 20 seconds under minutes, while his previous lifetime best, he was holding 101s. So, he looks like he's in a situation to take 20 seconds off the lifetime best, or perhaps more. The 900 split still goes to Jelig, but he's only 0.8 of a second ahead of Kevin Luke in lane 5. We'll catch up with Kevin after the race and see if it's Luke or Lukey. I don't know what he prefers. So as the pack separates, as it always does in the 1650, lane 5, Luke, and 7, Jelig will contend to see who flips first at the 1,000 mark. The boys' pool record in the 1,000 belongs to Rhett Cosgrove. That was set last weekend. The pool record as of last weekend in the 1,000 freestyle was 940.08, belonging to Rhett Cosgrove. The new pool record, 934.92. So at his feet, and he'll hold that for the weekend because we're not offering 1,000 freestyle this weekend. So it will be Connor Jelig who has the new 1,000 pool record. Being as he's 30 seconds under the under 10 minutes at the 1,000 mark, it would stand to reason he's easily going to beat his lifetime best. The question is between Luke and Jelig, who puts up a bigger lifetime best, who holds on better in these final 500 yards to take the win. Alone in that third position, is Michael Foley out of lane 4. He's the top seed, but he's fallen 10 yards behind Jellig and Lukey. We'll see if he's got the legs and, the veteran, he's an 18-year-old, if he's got the veteran experience to close that gap in the final 500 yards. The race for 4th and 5th is neck and neck between Kupski and Casey in 1 and 3, and that race also involves Teddy Blake in lane 6. So at the 1200 mark, Luke and Jellig continue to hold under 30s per 50. If they can continue to do so, hold 59s per 100, they'll continue to chip away at their bests. The 1250 mark approaches for them. They're a few yards out from that. When they flip at the 1250 mark, they're both at 12:01 and 12:02 with 400 yards remaining. If they can swim the final 400 yards under 4 minutes, they're sitting right at the 16-minute barrier. The closer one to that previously is Kevin Luke. He's been 16:12, so breaking 16 minutes would be a big milestone for him. For Connor Jellig, it would be a remarkable swim. His best has been 16:43. So they're sitting right at the 16-minute barrier. We'll see if the pool record goes to someone right under 16 minutes or someone right over. But regardless, as of right now, it looks like it'll be one of those two. So at this next turn for Luke and Jellig, it'll be 200 yards remaining. The two swimmers will flip at 13:59 each. So again, as I mentioned, if they can do a 200 here under 2 minutes, which they've been pacing for the whole race, they'll both break the 16-minute barrier for the first time in their lives, which is a very exciting milestone in the 1650. Third continues to belong to Michael Foley out of lane 4. It looks like the race for 4th has turned into one between Casey and Blake out of lanes 3 and 6. And they sit about 25 yards behind the leaders, Luke and Jellig. For the last few hundred yards, Kevin Luke has held just about one body length on Connor Jellig, so a small enough margin that certainly anything can happen with 100 yards remaining. Their coaches are going to see those splits and know, yep, both of these young men are poised for a nice drop and a big lifetime best, so they're going to push them to kick and spin the arms here in the final 4 lengths. 3 lengths remain for Luke, who has definitely a whole body length or perhaps 2 body lengths on Jellig. With 50 yards remaining, Luke will be under 15:30. He's going to be 15:26. So if he turns in a 28 or faster here, he's going to be under 15:55, and he's going to go a lifetime best by around 20 seconds to set the pool record and take the win in the first event here for the men. So he got the bell, about 10 yards remain. They're both sprinting, but they got to be gassed, and understandably after these great performances, it will be 15:53.32 by Kevin Luke to set the pool record and take the win. He's going to go 19 seconds under his previous best. 15:55.62 secures second for Jellig. Third will be Foley, 16:06.05. Fourth will be Blake, 16:07, so they close that gap there at the end. Casey takes fifth, 16:08.05. 16:17.45 is sixth for Kupski. Simmons will have about 10 yards left to round out the heat, but the new pool record here at Keystone Aquatics in the 1650 belongs to Kevin Luke, 15:53.32. 19-second drop, and he's won an event here at the first session of the 2020 Winter 18 and Under Championships at Keystone Aquatics.
Guys, you remember, both pools are open for warm-up, warm-down. You can stay where you are. Both pools are open for warm-up and warm-down. Please feel free first entry. Thank you.
So a reminder as this session concludes. Help your friends and family find us on Facebook and this live stream. They can subscribe on YouTube at Keystone Aquatics. They can like our Facebook page and sign up for reminders when a session goes live. Our next session. Oh, I'm getting intel here from the team as well. Heat sheets are available on Meet Mobile, so this meet is live on Meet Mobile. I tell you, Meet Mobile doesn't feature the live stream, but it features results and splits and all the good stuff you're looking for. The next session will be a 3:30 warm-up and a 4:30 start. I don't know if it's women or men, to be honest. It's going to be women contending the first couple shorter races. So a 4:30 start for the women. Tune back in then. We'll be looking forward to session number 2 of this event.
Without a doubt.
Oh, God.
There you are.
about 3:15, I'll start opening the doors to let the next group come in. Thank you.